First off, I'd like to thank our media friends for coming to visit with us this afternoon. You know, I actually visited with many of you this morning, and once again, I thank you for your ability and your support of our system, and most importantly, you helping us to get very factual information out to our citizens. Today, our governor did issue a proclamation, and a part of that proclamation did address public schools in the state of Louisiana. In that proclamation, the governor has directed that all schools are closed and all activities associated with that are canceled, and that's up until April 14th. So what that does is that provides the school systems with right at a month for us to really look at how do we make sure that we are in a position to not create or to increase the damage that could be caused by the coronavirus issues that we see in our state. One thing that I will tell you is that our district has been in anticipation of the possible closure and had already began work around what that would look like in our school district. For example, one of our major concerns is that so many of our children in a system with 75% of our children being raised in homes of poverty, so many of our children rely on us for food services. And in that respect, we are prepared on Monday, March 30th, which is the Monday that would have followed our scheduled spring break, to begin our feeding program. As many of you know, we operate a summer feeding program in our school system every summer to address that very need. And as a part of our crisis plan, that will happen on that date. One thing I think it's important to stress as often as I can is that families continue to look at our website. We will continue to use that link to the coronavirus link, to update community members and families about things that are actually happening within our school system. We also will utilize our J-Campus system so that we can make sure that when those foods do become available, we are able to work with families to get you access to the food. We're also excited to work in a community where several partners have stepped up, and you'll hear more about those efforts in the coming weeks, to look at how do we make sure that we have food not only during the school day, but also on the weekend for our children. When we look at activities such as athletics, as of date and as of Monday, all activities will be canceled, anything associated with activities, and our goal is for our families to self-quarantine and to help us to stop the spread of this coronavirus. Now, one of the big things that's associated with us as a school system, and one of the things that the governor did speak to in the proclamation, is how are we delivering instructions to students. Our academic team has worked diligently, even before this pandemic opportunity, to really look at how can we provide online instruction to our students. And we do have a plan of action that we will roll out in that respect after spring break. At this time, I'm going to invite Mr. Keith Burton, our Chief Academic Officer, to the podium, and he's going to speak to what that plan entails for us to ensure that while our children are home, we're providing them with academic advantages as well. Mr. Burton.
Thank you, Dr. Gorey. First of all, we wanted to make sure that all parents, all of our community, is aware that we do have a solid plan. Teachers, administrators have been working for days to prepare for this, because we knew that the likelihood was very strong. Parents need to rest assured that all students from kindergarten through 12th grade will be provided with the instruction that they need so that they will be able to promote and even graduate, because we know that it's every parent's desire to be able to provide that instruction for their child. We will be able, as Dr. Gorey said, immediately after spring break, launching a virtual platform that will provide instruction to all of our students from kindergarten through 12th grade. We will have a survey that will be sent out to all families beginning on Monday, because we are wanting to ensure that any family that needs technology assistance through devices, whether that's an iPad or a laptop, will be able to receive that device. So after we survey parents, we will begin a device deployment the Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday after spring break. All schools will be open for parents to come, and if they need those devices, we will be able, through their school leadership teams, give them specific instructions on how to do that. Once they have those devices, then the instruction begins. They will be taught not by someone at central office. They are going to be taught by their classroom teacher. Our curriculum teams, led by our curriculum specialists, have created content, again, from kindergarten through 12th grade. And our teachers will have access to that digital content, and then we'll be able to use that digital content to create lessons for students each and every day. The bottom line, and what we want to make sure that all parents know, is our kids will never miss a beat. They will be able to receive instruction immediately after spring break. They will be able to have a device if they do not have access to that at home. If they need internet access, we are providing links to local vendors that are providing extreme discounts to families for internet service, and then our content will begin immediately. If parents need help with homework, each teacher, each school, and even our departments here at central office will have hotlines, and we will run office hours so that we are available to assist anyone that needs assistance. Again, that could be a teacher who's having technology difficulty to a student who needs help with addition or subtraction. We will have the supports in place to make sure that, again, all students receive what they need through the instruction. Dr. Gordon?
Thank you. And before I take any questions, I do want to thank our board members that are here with us today. We have Board President Mary Trammell, Board Member Dottie Bell, Board Member Don Little, and Board Member Lloyd Thompson. We thank them for their presence and their leadership today. At this time, I'll take any questions that you may have.
What happens with state testing?
Don't know. As you know, a big part of the window of state testing, we will not be in school. Our ACT testing for high schoolers would have been on Tuesday, and we won't be in school for that either. So that's something that we'll certainly wait from the lead from Bessie regarding. I do think that we'll get something officially on that pretty soon.
And going back to the school feeding program, how will these meals be given out? Is it the buses? Do you show up to school?
What we've done traditionally in our summer feeding program is we'll identify certain schools where the meals will be made available. We will probably do definitely do a grab and go type setting, because we certainly are not trying to create groups where children are conjugating. So we will do a grab and go type service for that.
But it still presents the problem that you have person-to-person contact when meals are delivered.
Absolutely, that does create that content, but what we will do is certainly utilize our staff to be as sanitary as we possibly can. There will be gloves, there will be a lot of hand washing, and again, we have the good advantage that we have as a system is that we have next week, the week of which would have been spring break, to really tool ourselves and to learn as much as we possibly can about how we can create the safest environment, but yet still meet the needs of our families.
Are you concerned about graduation?
You know, I think that's just, when I met with principals today, I told them my goal is to get to tomorrow. So graduation I do see as something that's down the road. However, my staff has made contact about alternatives if that is to be necessary. So we have begun those conversations with the convention center.
How do you hope local employers will work with parents during this time?
Right. I do think that this is a very new experience for everyone, and I think in that respect, we have to all work together to make this situation as normal as possible. And I know that doesn't sound possible, but I do think that and hope that employers will continue to work with the parents, because this will create a new burden. In fact, as we looked at this and talked about this all week long, in that we felt we would get to this point, that was one of our main concerns, is what is the hardship on parents. But again, I do hope that local employers will work with parents, and we certainly do look to continue to partner to support with things like food and academic support as best we can.
This is a very ambitious program. I've not heard of something like this even in normal times. How do you feel about this, even though you've been working on it in a week? And where are the funds coming from for these devices, which could be Chromebooks or tablets?
So the Chromebooks and tablets that we will be deploying to students are actually already in our system. So those are general fund dollars that we will use for that. You are right, it's very ambitious, but I'm very proud to work in a system that has prepared to where if students are home, we can still provide them with quality educational opportunities. I wish I could sit here and tell you that this is going to go off perfectly, but I think we all know with any new implementation there will be bumps along the road. But we do look to continue to create this platform. And we think about when children have surgery. There are so many situations when children can't be at school that we can continue to provide that same level of quality of instruction. And one thing I'll add to that too, all of the materials that the students will be presented with will be on grade level. They will be items that are of rigor. So this will be an opportunity to have the same quality or as close as possible to what you'd have in the classroom.
You usually have to have a certain number of hours per year by state law. Will that mean that you'll have to go into the summer?
So if you look at the proclamation that the governor issued, he did suspend several things as they related to hours. Now, as far as what that looks like and what that suspension means as far as the summer, I cannot answer that question. Our goal today, though, is to do everything we can to support containing our students and to support not creating environments that are dangerous for the health of our students and employees.
How does this affect your staff? I'm sorry about that, especially the part-time.
So one thing we are doing with our staff is that, if you are a full-time employee of the system, this will not affect you. We are working through what do those things look like and what are those work schedules. Even when Mr. Burden spoke to what we're doing academically, there will be requirements of teachers even at home as we implement this online curriculum. As we look at our custodial workers and we look at some of the things that we need to, things that have to be done to make sure that our schools are, we provided this appropriate support to cleaning our schools. There'll be opportunities for them to do that. But our goal too, just like when I mentioned that I want employers to work with their employees with child care, our goal is for this to not negatively impact financially anyone that works for us in our school system.
You do have, in that 4-week period, there is 1 week of spring break in there, so it's only really 3 weeks.
No, it's 4 weeks. The one's just spring break, right? So, right, I would agree with you that it's really 3 weeks of class time. Right, and we're unique in that respect because if you look across the state, not many school districts, because of Mardi Gras breaks, not many of our school districts, especially those in the South, have spring break scheduled soon.
How unprecedented is this in your time as an educator?
Oh, I don't think anyone's experienced anything like this.
Oh, in terms just of education, and having to repurpose and replan to do the same thing on a virtual.
Right, this is the first time, and I think even if you look at the virtual technology, it's very new that we would even have enough devices to begin to have the conversation around providing online instruction to students. But I think if you look at pretty much every college in our area and many in our country have suspended classes and have gone to online platforms. Really proud to say that we are a K-12 public school system that's prepared to provide service at that level.
Going back to state testing, you guys spend weeks training the students to prepare to take these tests. When they come back, would they be ready?
What I would say about that is that the beauty about the new test is that it's nothing you can train children to do. You have to prepare children for life, and they have to apply that application when they get the test. So if you were ready today, you will be ready in 3 or 4 weeks. And again, we don't know what that test schedule looks like. I think the attention today is on how do we make sure we control the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus in our community.
Now, is this decision smart because of the teachers that were actually in contact with the coronavirus patients?
I don't understand your question.
The 3 teachers that were in contact with the coronavirus, somebody who had the coronavirus, do you think this is a good decision to kind of help stop the spread of COVID?
One thing I think it's important to add to, and I'll answer that question, is that as of date, we have no confirmed case of the coronavirus of an employee or a student. So we have no direct contact. In fact, the 3 people that you described were not in necessarily direct contact with the person. It was that they were in direct contact with someone who may have worked in the building with the person. So we took that precaution on our own. No one was quarantined by a doctor. At no time was it required of the school system to place anyone on a quarantine. That was a precaution that we took. And I do think when you ask the question around smart decision, I am glad that we will control some of the I don't want to. Everyone's excited. Everyone's in a new space. So, but I do think this will help us to control some of the sensational stories that we did, quite frankly, chase all day yesterday. So I do think it will help in that respect. One thing I will add too, though, clarification, athletic events, so far we've managed to cancel them all. So all athletic events have been canceled, and we do ask the parents to please work very hard to keep their children in safe environments. We ask that we do continue to wash hands constantly. We ask that with our little ones, we continue to monitor what they're putting in their mouths, how they're touching their eyes, and continue to teach those life skills. Because even, I think, past this virus, there will be another virus, and those skills will always be critically important. So I do ask that we do that as well. And again, certainly all of the families are in our thoughts and prayers as we move forward.
What about prom? Prom, you guys have said-
So those dates are coming very soon, and we will have information going out on those pretty soon, okay? And again, something has to change before we can have a prom because, we cannot have an event with more than 250 people. One thing I do think is important to note is that we will still have school board, but there will be a limit on the number of people that will be allowed to participate in that meeting. Any other questions? Anything, Madam President? Thank you. Have a good day. Oh, okay. You got to get your stuff, huh?
Thank you so much.